This was insane to witness. A scuffle broke out at Bengals practice and has Joe Burrow and Shemar Stewart on either side. We'll discuss what happened and what led up to the scuffle and why this could actually be a good thing, showcasing the fire that this Bengals team seems to be showing so far in training camp. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. So happy to see all you Bengals fans, and we are coming up on preseason game number 2. It's coming up on this Monday. So if you want to be in the know of all the breaking news as it happens, make sure you smash that subscribe. We appreciate all you fans. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers. I think we can get there before week 1. With your help, we can do it. So again, we appreciate all you Bengals fans. And going into this training camp, there's been a lot of position battles. There's been a lot of heat. You can tell the emotions are running high. Well, sometimes you see it happen on certain teams. A scuffle breaks out. There's some kind of play. They get tangled up, that sort of thing. This was kind of a close call that actually happened. So it involved Shemar Stewart and Joe Burrow. And what had happened was Shemar Stewart was going to make a play, but actually knocked Joe Burrow down. There was some kind of scuffle after that where it was Lucas Patrick who was first. He got in between Joe Burrow and Shemar Stewart. Joe Burrow, I bet he was just kind of laughing it off, but this was not taken very well by the offensive line, especially considering with Joe Burrow and his injury history. And these are grown men. These are athletes. They are fit, but all it takes is one little foot getting tangled, stepping wrong. It's just weird how it happens. A freak accident of just running, not even having any kind of contact. It happens. So I understand the passion that's going along with that offensive line. They talked to some of them after practice, and we got a little bit of insight on what was going on, just how that heated exchange with the players was going on. This was Ted Karras. He had this to say about afterwards, and he was talking about Shemar Stewart. Just be smarter. Great player, but that's all of our hopes and dreams right there. We've got to be better too. That's on us. So he's acknowledging, he's a great player. He just needs to be smarter. And that's just, we're going to make mistakes. Every single person makes a mistake. He's a rookie. I think Ted Karras kind of explained it best. He just said that it comes down to you got to play smarter, but we've got to play smarter. This is an offensive line that is going to continue to get heat, and it comes down to protect a number 9. You got Joe Burrow, who wherever he goes, that's where this offense goes. That's what it comes down to. Jake Browning filled in at one point when Joe Burrow had one of those injuries for the majority of the season. But at the end of the day, you're not going to make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, you have to have things like a Nick Foles that came in for the Eagles. That was a rare occurrence. It's possible, but it all comes down to this is Joe Burrow's offense. This is his team. And that was showing the passion of this team, though. It kind of is showing a visual of that fire. This team wants to win. They understand the severity of if Joe Burrow goes down, there goes possibly our hopes for the playoffs. So Shemar Stewart, he is flashing in training camp. He is getting pressure, and I'm all for it. Go get those reps, get that experience. But just like Ted Karras said, you just got to be smarter because quarterbacks are off limits, and during training camp, during practice, it's kind of known in that way. And again, we all make mistakes. It could have been just he lost his balance and it kind of stumbled into Joe, that type of thing. Those types of things happen. It shouldn't be overblown that this was intentional or malicious. I don't think that's really the headline of all of this. It really just shows that fire that's in this team. It's coming out because I'm not going to sit here and say that a team needs to get in a scuffle and needs to get in those little, pushing and shoving, but it does showcase some of that emotion sometimes. You want these players to really get into it, get their energy going, and especially with all the young guys. You have a bunch of young guys on this team, so to be a part of that, to feel that energy, feed off of each other, have a little bit of edge, I think it can be, if you want to look at the silver lining of it, that can be a good thing. And their headline is that this Bengals team needs to start fast. They need to show it is win now, not, oh, it's just one game and we'll get it next time. You got to come out the gate. We want this. We want this division. We want to get even the number 1 seed. That's the mentality that these players need to have. So that was kind of showcased a little bit. You can kind of see that emotion kind of spilling over. Now, it goes back to one of the players on the offensive line, Lucas Patrick. He had a rough night there in preseason, but it is good to see he kind of took accountability for it. They also interviewed him afterward, and this is what he had to say. He said, "Got to protect number 9. Starts with me up front. I got to play better and protect better, but you can't let number 9 get hit." So I agree with that. You're taking accountability for it. It starts with him. He was one that got in between that after Joe was hit, but it does start with him. It starts with him. He's got to step up. There's a lot, as much as he is that one they got in the offseason to kind of have that right guard position. There's a lot on him, and they need him to step up. That position has just been severely lacking here recently. So I get it. But at the same time, I can see how he was very heated about it. He was one that was first to be in between Shemar and Joe. But let's just hope that that lights a fire on this offensive line. If you think to yourself, I got to protect the quarterback, that could be the fire it needs. It needs anything and everything to get the right motivation for this offensive line, because at the end of the day, may the best man win when it comes to these positions. Because right now, it seems like Lucas Patrick is going to be at that right guard, but you have Cody Ford that could potentially be there. There's been talks of Cordell Volson possibly sliding over there. That's another one. You have the position battles, and you hear the names, and you think, no, that shouldn't be who it is. Maybe it's not going to happen. But at the end of the day, the best player at that position needs to be there, because they need the best offensive line they can get. And say what you will, they should have signed another player. They should have went out and made a trade, whatever the case is. At the end of the day, this is the team that you're probably going to be looking at outside of some kind of major injury where they do have to go and get that veteran. But this is what you're looking at. This is the offensive line they're dealt. And Joe Burrow, he can make things happen despite all these limited offensive lines that he's had that have had their struggles. But hopefully this is, again, that motivation, that fire that is going to get them going. They're going to take it more personal. Protect number 9. Protect Joe Burrow, because he is going to be the future. He's going to really be, at the end of the day, if you just want to make it simply, if Joe Burrow is not playing, they are not making, probably not even the playoffs, but definitely, and just in my take, they're not making the Super Bowl. You got to have number 9 to get you to the Super Bowl at the end of the day. One other thing to note is also they talked to Shemar Stewart. This was off topic, but during camp, they were asking him about Trey Hendrickson, because Trey Hendrickson has been spotted in camp. He's been there. Again, he's with this contract dispute, still ongoing. We're still waiting. We just hope he can get out there too, because on the flip side, the defensive line is also going to be getting the spotlight, seeing who's going to step up, who the best player is going to be on that line as well. But I found it interesting. They talked to Shemar Stewart, and he was talking about, what were you learning when it came to Trey Hendrickson? Was there anything specifically he talked about? And this is what he had to say. Shemar Stewart said, "His biggest thing is that me and you are not the same. But if I can give you a little couple details to make your game better, and you can flip it to where it works for you, at the end of the day, you become a little bit better. One day, eventually, I'll be like him." I really like this. Trey Hendrickson, that's what he is doing while he is in camp. He is able to give any kind of tips. I saw some videos of him working with Shemar Stewart. It seemed like he was showing him like a swim move, that type of thing. And I'm all for that. Again, you got this drama, you got all this contract going on, whatever. And that should be behind closed doors. It's just getting the headlines you're going to hear about, he said this, whatever. But it seems like he's still focused on this team needs what's best. And that is, I have a rookie that is coming in wanting to start. Potentially, it remains to be seen. But if he can continue to progress, if he can get those reps, who knows? He might be going back to the best player at the position, ends up getting that starting role. I'm going to be here and I'm going to impart to you what I know. And I'd like that he acknowledged we're not the same. We're not going to be the exact same player. But here's some things that you can keep in mind that you can apply to your game. And Shemar Stewart saying, I hope to be him eventually, or taking it more of I will be him eventually. I love it. That's what the Bengals need at the end of the day, is another pressure machine. So good things to keep in mind as we go into the next preseason game. Again, it is coming up on Monday. It feels like time is just flying by. We'll be looking forward to what the Bengals do. More of the starters are expected to play. There's going to be more of those formations. The playbook kind of opened up a little more, so stay tuned to that. So again, if you have not already, make sure you're subscribed by smashing that subscribe button and tell us what you think. Do you think this scuffle was going to help kind of get that motivation, kind of that fire underneath the Bengals? We want to hear from you, so be sure you drop us a comment down below as well. Well, that's going to do it for now, guys. As we say, Uday.